After you load your show's information, next, you want to start loading your show dates. Managing your show dates will allow people to understand what it is that you're going to talk about next in your future episodes, and also be able to access your past episodes so that they can download the podcast if they'd like, or view the videos that you create. To manage your show dates or your episodes, you want to click on the Manage Show Dates link for your show. By doing that, you'll be able to see a link here that says Add Show Date. When you add a show date, the first thing you're asked is whether this is a past show, and if it is, you want to check that box. I'll talk about that in just a moment. You want to put in your show date title, which is a description of your show. It could be that you've got an interview with somebody, and so you want to say, I'm having an interview with this person. Or it could be that you're doing a show on a given topic or a different subject, in which case you'd want to then have a title that's appropriate to that subject or that topic. Next, you want to select your show date. In this case, if I'm doing a show on the 20th, then I'll put that in there. And then by default, the times are defaulted to the time of your broadcast. If they're incorrect, you're welcome to change those. Next, you want to describe your incoming or your upcoming show. Now, when you do the description of your upcoming show, it's kind of a teaser. You want to set the expectations of those who are going to watch for your show. And whenever you put that information in there, the description of your upcoming show goes into the schedule page so that people can see what your next show is going to be about. And it also goes into your own show page so that when people look at all of the episodes you've recorded in the past, it's this description that you provide right here that's listed for everybody else to see. Next, you'll put in the title bar text, which would be appropriate for when people click into the page itself to see more about the episode. And again, the title bar text is what is at the top of this window of your browser. And it's also what's used when people bookmark. So if I were to bookmark the page, then I can see here that this text is exactly what I see up here. All of that is fed by the title bar text, so be careful what you put into the title bar text. It will matter for your Google placement, for your search engine optimization that you do. You can put in some comma delimited keywords, and you can put in tags. Now, tags is a future thing that we'll do, but tags are really like broad categories. So if your show is about politics, and if you're a Democrat, then you'd want to put in politics, comma, Democrat. Or if you're doing a show interviewing a certain person, then you'd want to type maybe interview and then comma and then that person's name. So again, these are broad categories to help people find things later on. Then you can put in the URL of a picture that you find online that's appropriate to that. So it might be a person's picture from their own website if you're interviewing somebody. If it's a show about food and it's a dish, you might want to have some sort of picture for that. You want to put in the picture URL because that will show up when people look at the show itself. Then they can see the picture that goes along with it. Now, this is for a future show, so I would fill in all of that information and then click Save. But if this were for a past show, then I would want to click that this is a past show that's taken place, in which case then I have more options now that come up for me. With a past show, whenever you get finished with your show, you'll want to go in and fill in the full show recap, which is a longer explanation of what the show, of what actually happened during the show. If you want to know what the difference is between the brief description here and the full show recap here, you can click on this link, which will tell you more about the difference between those two. But really, this gets shown inside of the schedule and in the list of shows that you've done on your show page. Whereas the full show recap, when I click into any given show, it's this description that I see on that show's page, on that episode's page. Then down below, you can paste the URL or the web address for the audio that you've uploaded to like Podbean or somewhere else. And you can put in the link that you've uploaded for the video. such as at YouTube or at Blip TV, and then you can click Save. Now, once you've saved a given episode, you can go back and edit that, and notice how this looks very similar to the page that we were just on. And this is what you want to do after you've already recorded a show. Because after you recorded the show, now you've got the audio and you've got the video. You can now upload those to the places where you host those, YouTube, Podbean, wherever it is that you do that. You can take the links to the podcast or to the video, and you can then paste that down below, because those are now available after the show, because that's happened. And then you can go ahead and recap the show here so that people know more fully what happened during your show. And then once you're done, you just click Save. Once you click Save, all of that information will appear on the Worldwide Amplified website. So let's take a look at the show of somebody who does this well. I'm going to scroll down to Sherry and David Borzo's show, The Delicious Story. They do their shows on Saturdays. And so here is The Delicious Story. I can see here that the preview text, or the upcoming show text that they had put in, appears here. This builds my expectation of what it is that they're going to do their show about. When I click into their show page itself, this allows me to see all of the previous episodes, and all of the text that they put into these are all around and all of the text that they put into these and all of the text that you see here is from that upcoming show description. Now, if I click into these, if you don't put in a full show recap, then it'll just take the text from that initial description that you put in and fill that in. But you can also see how it has the links to their podcast and to their video, because they filled in those blanks inside of the episodes page or the show date page. I can also take a look at the future shows that they have loaded in here, and you can see that they've got future shows so that I know what it is that they're going to do down the road.